if you're not a little embarrassed by where you are right now in life, you're probably doing something wrong. We hide our beginner phase like it's something to be ashamed of, but it's actually the most valuable season in your life. And if you're a beginner in anything, learning a language, learning how to program, how to play an instrument, this messy, uncertain, confused version of yourself that is trying to learn everything in the beginning, that's when you're in the golden zone of growth, emotionally, mentally, and creatively. So stay until the end, and you will see why the beginner version of you is actually the most powerful one and the most magnetic one. And if you haven't seen me on YouTube here, hi, I'm Edith, and I welcome you to my channel where I share practical tools on how to live in alignment, how to trust yourself again, and how to live a life shaped by your desires and your passions and your calling instead of shaped by other people's expectations. And if you're feeling like you're trying to avoid something, not because you would be scared of being a beginner, but you might be scared of being judged or being perceived as non competent, this video is exactly for you. And I'm gonna continue with that. We're not really scared of being a beginner, we're scared of being seen to be a beginner and to start from zero. Because if you're starting from zero, you really have nothing, and you and other people have all the reasons to give you advices. They might also have all the reasons to judge you and to laugh at you. If they laugh at you, that's a question whether you should be even in that circle, but that's for another topic. What I'm talking about is we think that real confidence comes from mastery, but the real confidence comes from motion, comes from you seeing yourself being courageous enough to really start something and have no idea what it is about. We crave as human beings so much control, but beginnings require surrender. That's what makes them uncomfortable and sacred. What would you say on a trait where I'm gonna give you comfort and you're gonna give me your growth? I'm gonna be better, but you will be in comfort and you will not be on eyes of others, and certainly no one would laugh at you. But you're gonna be stuck in the same place for the rest of your life. I'm struggling here, I'm growing because we've just traded this. I'm really like on eyes of others and I'm really doing anything new that's out there. And I'm pretty much ridiculed, but now with time and with persistence, I'm starting to be way better than anyone. And so 10 years later, you might see the one person that's been grinding and being laughed at and being ridiculed. I don't know, maybe a millionaire, a billionaire, or someone that's just living his life in a comfortable way how he wants to. And he couldn't be more happy in that life. Whereas you traded this growth and this possibility of being ridiculed for comfort. So, what do you think? Where you would be? Well, if you're going to avoid being a beginner for any reason, you're always going to trade growth for comfort, and your brain will deteriorate because once there's no novelty, anything new to learn, your brain will also start to go to sleep and will be less and less efficient because once there is nothing new, there is only repetition. But if you're stuck in the one place for maybe 1 decade or 2 decades, you are telling your brain, we can just chill, nothing will happen, and the life will be pretty dull. But no one is laughing at me. Psychologists call this also a illusion of mastery. I mean, the illusion of mastery is mainly about you really feel you've mastered one field perfectly. Maybe you've mastered the grammar of English like a pro, like the boss. If you should be learning how to program, for example, maybe you want to have your own app for English and you want to start by your own self. You have to learn something like that. And you In this case, would be best to go on the course or to go learn somewhere and have questions and have stupid questions. And so you'll be like, whatever, I'm gonna just stick to what I know because maybe I'm too old, maybe I'm too busy, I don't have the time to learn it. Maybe I would have to learn it like 5 hours per day and then I would learn it. And you start to give yourself these funny excuses. Whereas if you would be like, okay, I can learn it while I'm commuting to work, I can learn it while I'm standing in my line for a coffee, I might just start to introduce my brain to this. You have no idea what motivation would just flow over you if that would be the right thing for you. Of course, if you're pushed into something by others and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do it, but you don't really feel that it's good for you, it's good for your true, authentic self, you will never feel this rush of motivation. But if you would be the perfect person to teach grammar, for example, and you would really need to have the basics of, okay, how to program, for example, you know that it is going to boost you and your life and maybe your financial state and maybe your overall sense of purpose and sense of life to freaking, if you're stuck in that cage of not trying to look like you don't have the perfect questions, if you are bothered with the fact that other people would judge you, we all know that these comments have nothing to do with us, right? So truly, if you're feeling like life is just not that interesting anymore, you might want to try something new, something that maybe you're watching reels and you're watching like paintings are so beautiful. I wonder how they can paint those clouds so well. But that's nothing for me. I have my own thing. Well, you are having a time to scroll and look and admire these people that are doing what they love and that are trying to be better and better every day. If you have the time to scroll on that Instagram, you will always have the time to get better yourself. So it's truly about being honest with yourself and to find that little piece of courage, the beginning. You don't have to tell anyone. Like, who cares? Who cares if you buy a pack of colors, a painting stand, and a canvas? No one will care. You don't have to tell anyone, but just be honest with yourself. Once I wanted to truly work on music and to sing, I didn't tell anyone that I am renting a rehearsal room just so that I can truly start to train my voice in order to not bother my neighbors. I didn't tell anyone that I bought this stand, I'm literally touching it, to record a music. Also, I'm recording my meditations with it. I didn't say anyone. I'm not even speaking about my YouTube channel. I don't need to. And if people would see me doing this YouTube channel, having like 100 subscribers, and be like, why are you doing it? Like, what's the point? It's not my business to care about their opinions. It has nothing to do with me. And if they want to support me, that's amazing. I see that they are themselves motivated people ready to try anything new because they know what life is about and truly don't care if you're bad. That is actually the beauty of it. If you're bad, okay, you might even make someone laugh. Again, it doesn't have to touch you emotionally. It's just like, okay, I just did this and someone laughed at me, whatever. They will go back home and they will start to, on their way back home, they will start to think and realize what are all their problems, and they will come back to their center, which is their own things to manage, their own problems to solve, their own tasks to accomplish. And there is one paradox I noticed. The more you allow yourself to look foolish and to be out there, the faster you evolve, because the faster you can acquire all the stuff, that all the failures and all the lessons that if you weren't out there and if you weren't looking foolish, that would mean that you're not doing anything. So there is no lesson out of that. And I read that in Zen Buddhism, by the way, it's this word. This is a translation or meaning of the beginner's mind. People that are living by this philosophy, they're just approaching to everything as a newborn, as someone that hasn't seen anything at all. And they're approaching this new beginning with no ego and no pretending. I would compare this with learning a language as a child, like learning your first native language. Literally, think about how kids are learning language. They don't care if they're gonna just mess it up, the pronunciation, they're just gonna say it and someone will correct them. Done. Next. So many people are overthinking, like, but like, what if I say this and it's gonna be embarrassing and what people are gonna say? Just say it. Just say it and we will see. And by the way, when I was learning French, I was learning like a child. I was literally trying to talk to myself. You know, when I was looking at bus stops, I said, okay, this is a bus arrêt and stuff like that. So I really was in this childish mindset, at least, of course, with learning the language, because there are no blocks. When you're a child, you don't have any blocks. And if we maybe think about someone from our class, I believe that there is at least one person you remember, or maybe it was you, that truly had a stupid block of learning something. For example, math. There is a huge cloud of negativity around math, but math is logic. Math just makes sense. You just need to throw away all these threats from other teachers, from the language department, because they just hate math, because they had also maybe the block, and maybe your parents will say something once you come home because they just almost dropped out because of math, and everyone is so filled with their own complexes and they're just going to share them with you. You just have to be aware, like, okay, is this a truth? Like, is my dad the freaking master in math? Can I take his advices, or did he drop out? And why I'm saying this is that a lot of people around you and around me are still living with their own narratives, but it's not their narrative, it's narrative from all the people they've met. And so based on this narrative they have in their heads, they're going to judge you and me, and they're going to have opinions about you and me. And what we're gonna do? We're just not gonna care. Welcome to the world of not caring, where there are unicorns and sparkles. And also, if you're gonna approach a new activity with the no blocks mindset, you are going to experience learning and joy at the same time, because once you learn something, there is the dopamine release, because you just accomplished something and you want more and more. And the dopamine is the hormone of chasing. You want more. And actually, in this mindset, you're able to experience the flow state. If you don't know what is that, Google it. It's like joy on steroids, I would say. And so remember, if your voice shakes, if your art looks rough, and if your hands tremble once you try something new, remember that that's power, because the courage lives on the edge of uncertainty. And remember that every master you're admiring right now, they've all looked ridiculous. They just didn't stop. So I encourage you, do one thing today. Even though it's 10 p.m., I really recommend you go out and you really start the thing you've always wanted. So if you want to paint, you're not going to like buy all this new stuff for painting. No, you're gonna go into your cupboard that has been 10 years untouched, and you are going to find some colors and some old stale brush, and you are going to just start to paint one picture, one little sketch. This is what I'm talking about. And I encourage you as well, start a journal and write about it. Have a conversation with yourself about your progress and about how you felt. It's so important, and it makes you emotionally so mature to be able to name your emotions during doing something. My emotions during making my first song, maybe fear, maybe exhaustion, because it really was a lot of times repeating and repeating the same thing until I just made it to my imagination. And maybe it was frustration, maybe it was even anger, sadness, I don't know. Maybe it was joy, maybe it was something like excitement. Because one day you might look at the art, you might look at your first app or anything that you've created, and even though you will think like, this is really bad, you are going to realize how much you have accomplished and how much you've grown from that point. So never erase your old videos of trying the thing you are trying to get better in. Truly, this is the evidence of being exponentially better and better every year. One day you will look at it and you'll be like, okay, so this is where it started. And you get to be proud of yourself. This is also a part of building a confidence. So remember, being a beginner isn't embarrassing. It's a proof you're alive enough to evolve. Don't wait to be ready and be real instead. Like this, you will also attract magnetic people, you get to be vulnerable, and you get to evolve every day, every day. You might be even surprised where you can get with this mindset of no blocks and just curiosity. And you might make amazing friends along the way. So definitely try it out and let me know in the comments what is the one thing you were trying to avoid. But now maybe you've realized there's no point in avoiding. I hope that you're gonna have an amazing day and stay awesome. Bye.